What is up, UDK Sports Talk family? As you can tell by the attire, in today's video, I wanted to react to the New York Mets opening day, in which our boys beat the Pittsburgh Pirates by a score of 11-7. Now, I could do this reactionary video in a multitude of ways, right? But most importantly, I wanted to start off with the offseason because we all understand how our offseason started. When you lose players of the significance and the impact that they had in terms of production, Edwin Diaz, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, and Jeff McNeil. Well, on a lesser scale, Jeff McNeil. When you look at these players and what they've meant to this organization for the last 6 to 7 years, understanding that we had some good runs with them, but also understanding that our locker room dynamic needed a change. And David Stearns, in my opinion, it started off rough, but he did a heck of a job to close out the offseason. And he brought in new juice, new energy into this locker room, and it showed today. And obviously, it is opening day, so you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves, right? But when you look at the players that they brought in, Jorge Polanco, they traded Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien. You look at the trade for Luis Roberts Jr., and then you look at Freddie Peralta. Now, we don't know what the closer situation is going to look like, right? We didn't see Devin Williams on the mound. But in my opinion, I still would have rather had Edwin Diaz. But that's neither here or there. Most importantly, right, I'm going to say this, right, reacting to Game 1. And why I'm encouraged, because as a baseball player, and I spoke about this on my World Baseball Classic videos, I played, and all of my baseball players will be able to appreciate this tape. When you watch the New York Mets play today, most importantly, what you saw from our hitters was there was an approach. Now, what does an approach mean? When you go up to bat, you are looking for certain pitches. You are looking for a spot, but what you're also looking to do is make the pitcher work. And what you saw today was the New York Mets go up against probably the best pitcher in the game. Well, it's a toss-up, man, between him and Screwball. You saw Paul Skenes get on the mound, a guy that throws upper 90s, touches 100 with consistency. You saw how great of a pitcher he is. Now, we can't contest this. We all saw what he did in the WBC. So Paul Skenes is great. And every at-bat in that first inning was making him work. And that is what's very encouraging, because notoriously Mets hitters, they gave away at-bats, chasing pitchers out of the zone, basically giving the pitcher all the momentum. And what you saw today was, we're going to make you have to hit your spots. You're going to have to throw strikes. We are not chasing outside of the zone. We are okay with taking our walks, getting runners on, steady traffic throughout the whole game. Because if you follow me, I spoke about this. Pressure bursts pipes. And when you're able to consistently make the pitcher work, eventually what's going to wind up happening through this approach, you're going to get runners on, and pitchers are going to have to throw strikes. And when they have to throw strikes and they're not spotting up, you get pitches to hit. And when you get pitches to hit, it's time to cash in on those opportunities. And today, the Mets were able to cash in on those opportunities. Now, they did get some help by O'Neal Cruz, but it wouldn't be the first time that he gave some teams some extra help, right? But with that being said, man, you looked at the approach from our hitters today. You saw the at-bats that Francisco Lindor had. You saw the at-bat that Beatty had. You saw Carson Bench hit his first home run of his career in the MLB today. You saw gritty at-bats. Yes, some balls weren't hit hard, and ultimately, it doesn't matter how hard you hit them. Can you get on base and can you apply pressure? And that's what happened in the first inning. Now, when you follow that up with the amount of high-quality at-bats, what this does is eventually you're going to get pitches to hit. You're getting nothing but traffic on the bases, which now helps out your pitching staff, right? Because now you're keeping them rested. They don't feel like they have to be perfect. And that's rough, man. For those of you that play baseball, you understand this. You can't be perfect. It's almost impossible to go on the mound and feel like you have to be perfect. So now when you have this type of approach, now you can have complementary baseball in which your hitting now coincides with your pitching. You definitely feel like you're in a good spot when you look at this lineup, man. Look at the at-bats that Soto had. They weren't chasing. They were being very scrappy. Even Bo Bichette, even though he didn't hit the ball well today, he had prolonged at-bats. He made the pitchers work. He got a sac fly. That is what you want to see, productive at-bats out of your guys. And I felt like today was the first time in a long time you felt that. You felt our guys having great at-bats. It's been a long time since I felt that way. And then you also felt that energy when watching them play. And it's like, okay, so now you saw the vision for what David Stearns was looking for with these guys. They wanted a completely new core. They decided to rip everything from the studs and said, we're going to start this up from the beginning, but we're going to build this around Francisco Lindor and Juan Soto. And so far, I would tell you this. I love what I saw from the approach aspect. Now, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, right? It's only one game. But the one game shows you the signs of the team And the one thing that doesn't change game to game is the batter's approach. Batters will go cold. Batters will get hot. But the one thing that never changes is their approach. And today you saw guys that were putting the bat on the ball, getting scrappy hits, pesky at-bats. This is what the New York Mets need, man. And it helps your pitchers out a lot. Look, Freddie Peralta wasn't great today, but when he needed to bow up, he did and got the big out. Overall, I liked what I saw from our team. Now, where this goes, nobody knows, bro. It's just game one. But most importantly, we saw today that the New York Mets have something here where if they could become a very pesky team, that they have line drive hitters who could also hit it out the park. Now this lineup, when you start thinking about from the top all the way down, if Francisco Alvarez has a great year, you're looking at potentially 1 through 7, 1 through 8 that can hit. I'm just saying, I've been telling people when you looked at this roster before the season, especially with the moves that David Stearns made towards the end of the offseason, hey man, if we could get some solid pitching here, who knows what the ceiling is? I'm not going to sit here and say they could go to the World Series, but they could definitely make some noise in the playoffs, 100%. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about the New York Mets, man. Am I overreacting? Did you like the approach of our hitters today? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. Check off the bell notification icon to become part of the family. With that being said, you guys, let us know. 1-0, New York Mets started off the 2026 season with a bang. Let's go, baby.